it's Shel from Paper Actio Studio, and today I am sharing with you another project for the Recycling Artist Gang from recycledpartsforart.com. This is a shop that is from Jeri Bellini, and she sells all kinds of things that she finds when she's out junking with her husband, little things to big things, and it's all in the idea that you can use these things to make great recycled projects. My project today is a altered bottle. This glass bottle is from tea. Oh, what's the name of it? Kind Leaf? No, whatever. I don't know. Leaf. Pure Leaf. There we go. Pure Leaf tea, and it's one of their fancier ones. When I was on a trip with my friend, she sold me her car, and we took a little road trip to bring it down to Arizona. I purchased some of this tea on, like in Circle K's or whatever when we stopped for gas. It's yummy. I like the lemon one, but it has all kinds of interesting flavors that they add to this premium tea. So I saved a couple of the bottles, and this is one of them. Rinsed it out with soap, of course. And when Jeri had sent our Recycling Artist Gang packages, she wrapped up all the individual stuff in this brown paper. You recognize it. She probably got it out of Amazon boxes. I have a lot of it from Amazon boxes too, but I wanted to use it because it makes an interesting texture. One way to alter bottles is to just paint them with gesso, and I could have done that, but I thought I would like to have kind of a funky texture on the bottle. So I'm using Liquitex matte gel medium and these little torn up pieces of craft paper, and I'm covering the entire bottle using that. So I didn't really need to peel off the labels on the bottle. I did actually peel off the front one, and then I had this big sticky space that was sticking to my fingers, but I didn't peel off the back one because I realized I'm going to cover it up. If you wanted to gesso the bottle, you'd need to get the labels off somehow. Otherwise, they would show as, a ridge. You'd see where the label was, which maybe you don't care about, but if you do, then you'd need to find out a way to get the labels off of the bottle. I've seen people alter all kinds of bottles, a mayonnaise jar, whatever, maybe an old vase or something. This is fun. This is a good way to recycle something that you would have tossed anyway. Of course, glass bottles are recyclable by the recyclable people. They crunch them up and, redo them or whatever, but I wanted to make an interesting sort of a vessel that I could put something in. This could be a vase because I could put water inside of it. I didn't put anything on the inside of it, so I could put water and put flowers in it, or I could put dried flowers in it, or I could use it to store some of my long-handled paint brushes. I have a few long-handled ones. Most of my paintbrushes are short. So if I wanted to separate out the long ones, I could put them in the bottle, and I might do that. I have a windowsill that's like right in front of my desk now, so I could just set it up there and put them on. So once all this paper is on there, I put the medium underneath and also on top to make sure that everything is sealed. So now it's all sealed up with acrylic and is not going to be harmed by water if a little bit of water splashes on it or something. I wouldn't put it in the dishwasher or soak it or something like that because water would somehow get under there and start to peel it away. But for just use as a vase or storage container, it works great. So I have all these bits and bobs that Jeri sent me, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I was originally going to use some of these metal hair permanent rods. I was going to use one of those, and I was going to make a flower on it out of these pieces, but they were too big. They were too bulky. It just didn't look right. So then I got out the bottle caps and buttons that she sent me, and I was thinking about using them to make just kind of a random collection of interesting stuff on the front, and that's what I decided to do. I mean, on the front. It's got 4 sides. Which side's the front? Who even knows? So Before I did that, I decided that I wanted to highlight some of the texture. So I got glazing medium and I started out with quinacridone violet acrylic in the glazing medium. Painted that all over the bottle. And what will happen is the paint will get into the creases and crevices of the textured paper, because the paper is layered one on top of another. There's all these different interesting textures on there, which is what I wanted when I decided to cover it with paper. So then once I've let that sit for a minute or so, then I am wiping it off. And this is just a standard glazing technique. I didn't want it to be purple. I wanted to highlight the edges of those pieces of paper, if you know what I mean. And I did it again. I'd put it a little bit more on again, and then I decided maybe I'd taken a little bit too much off. I'm just using baby wipes to take it off. So then I decide to work with my bottle caps. So I have collected up some different stuff I'm planning on using. This is really fun to do with kids. You can make magnets out of these for the refrigerator, and the bottle cap has a reservoir on the inside of it, and so you can use some type of clear drying liquid glue, like in this case is a Mod Podge Dimensional Magic. I think there might even be little kits that you can buy that have this stuff in it. I'm not sure, but anyway, I remember doing this with one of my children. I think it was from a kit. I think he got a kit at a birthday party, and as a gift, and he made a whole bunch of magnets doing this. But basically, I'm using the Dimensional Magic. Then I'm putting in a 3/4 inch punched piece of a jelly print of some sort in the bottom. I would have liked to have used a 1 inch, but I could not find a 1 inch punch. I don't think I have one, and I didn't feel like cutting out 1 inch circles. So I just went with the 3/4 in the center. I put a little bit of the glue in there, then put the paper in, press it down, and then start putting 3D items on the top. And some of the stuff that Jeri had sent me is broken jewelry, so I cut off the backs with wire cutters, and I'm using some of that. There's a little bead circle that she sent me. I don't know if it was meant to be a ring or a wreath or something, but it fit perfectly in there, so I put that in. I have these little charms. This one says dream, I think, on it, and then I found one that was a feather to put in there with it. Just little things that I have around, sequins, things like that. Just little things, beads. And what makes them interesting is that you fill up the space with the clear glue stuff, and then when it dries completely clear. Now when you look at the pictures at the end of the video, this thing has not had very much time to dry, so it's not completely dry. So some of the bottle caps aren't completely clear because I had to take the pictures so that I can make the video, since I'm so behind schedule. I'm sure some of you can understand why I am behind schedule if you are watching my channel and realizing that I'm making an art journal page every day this month. So I didn't let this dry 100% overnight or anything like that. I let it dry for a few hours, and then I had to get the video done. So I'm using the scissors to poke if there's any bubbles, I just poke them. And I'm just looking for different stuff. It could be anything. It could be, I don't even know, whatever you have. And I put like a big thing and then a small thing, and then maybe some little sprinkles of things like some little micro beads or glass glitter, something like that. A lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. I could probably sit around making embellishments out of these bottle caps for a long time because I was having fun with it. Not sure where I went at this point in the video. I seem to have disappeared. Oh, I went to get the bird charmer. I was looking for some other stuff. That's what happened. And I forgot to edit it out. But that's okay. You don't mind, right? I was looking for that spiral clip. I thought, oh, that would be a good idea to have a spiral in it. And I know that some of the time I'm spent off camera, I zoomed this in, like really zoomed it in, and then didn't realize how zoomed I was in. So sometimes my hands go off camera. But anyway, it's a fun project. That's a sequin, some little star-shaped sequins, and some colored, what are those things called? Pins, not diaper pins, but something like that. Safety pins, there we go. Had a couple colored ones, and so I put those in with a star sequin and some small star sequins. There's the spiral clip. And then I go back in a couple times just to make sure that I've put enough of the glue in there. I was worried because I've had this dimensional magic for a while that I was going to run out. And so I didn't want to like completely fill it up to the rim. I just wanted to cover everything. That's a really kind of a holographic flower sequin that I found in my stuff. And I put a bead in the center, and then I think I dumped some micro beads in there at some point. Anyway, these are fun. A lot of fun. You can put a heavy magnet on the back and use them as refrigerator magnets. You can do them with your kids. In this case, I'm making embellishments for the bottle. So at Recycled Parts for Art, there are bags of bottle caps if you don't have them. She has a lot of them. She also uses them to make wind chimes. So good place to purchase them if you don't have them. She buys them, I guess, in bulk at junk stores. So I had to set all those aside and let them dry. It would have been great if I could have let them dry overnight. That would have been great, but I didn't. So then I decided to put another glaze coat on here. This is a PBO iridescent copper, and I thinned that down with the glazing liquid, painted it on all over the jar, and then wiped it off. So now I have purple underneath and then copper on top to add more visual interest to the bottle. I could have also put a layer of black, and I considered it because I thought that would be, maybe it would really highlight the pieces better, but I ended up deciding that it would be too dark in comparison with the things that I was planning on gluing on top. So I decided to leave it like this. I think a good coat of triple thick glaze sealer would be good on this. It would make it really shiny, and I might do that. I have to buy some first, but I found some other things to add along with my bottle caps. That's a metal. It's a metal flower with a hole in the middle. I'm not sure what it was from, but I found it, and I thought it would be interesting on there. What I'm using to stick everything on is 3D gel from Prima. They have a lot of projects where you do assemblage, so they have the products to go do it with. There's other companies that have a thick gel like this. Golden has one. Then I'm also using some more of the broken jewelry that she sent me. This piece I was going to put on that side, but the bottle was too curved and it wouldn't let me. So I ended up putting it on the other side. That was a two-piece earring that I cut apart. And one part of it is in the middle of one of the bottle caps and the other one is there. It was like a gold and silver colored costume jewelry. It didn't want to stay, but I did finally get it to stick. Then I have some other buttons and some washers. A charm, I think. What else? I don't know. Just bits and bobs. Bottle pop tops would have been nice because they make interesting dimensional shiny stuff, but I didn't have any of those. I looked, but I hadn't saved any. So I'm just buttering the back of the things and then sticking them on, making a nice thick coat, and it does really work. It makes it stick. Makes it stick forever. Oops, off camera again. Get back in the center of the screen. Come on, you can do it. So this was a lot of fun. I hope that you try a project like this. Um, I'm sure that we all have bottles and things around that we could do a project like this with. Um, I might do some more. I have another tea bottle that I saved, and I have a couple little jelly ones that I thought would be cute. They're hexagonal shaped or whatever. So then with the excess glue that's sticking out, rather than trying to clean it all off, it's kind of fun to just put something on it. So I'm using this glass glitter from Prima. This is a copper color glass glitter. And I just take the tray. This is like a glitter or embossing tray. And I just dump the glitter right on top of it and then try to get the excess back into the bottle. And then I do the same. I add a little bit more of the gel and then do the same with some micro beads. Those things, they're crazy. I don't know, they move on their own. I think it's static, but they're crazy. I had the hardest time getting them back into the bottle. And also there was a ton of them all over the desk, even though I used the tray. These things are crazy, crazy, crazy. But they're fun and they make an interesting look. I added, some more of the glue on there so that I could have some of those on there too. And they are gold colored. So I have a little bit of copper, a little bit of gold to accent my little bottle. So then to finish it off, I decided that it needed something around the jar. So I decided to use jute twine because the craft paper, or the original craft paper. And then I put a little bit of copper thread on there as well. And it's really, really thin thread, and it doesn't show up very much in the video at all. But I wrapped it around and around and around and then tied it off, and then I wrapped some around two of my fingers and then tied that in the center like a little bow thing on there to add it, to go back in with the copper again. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you'll try something like this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Share if you want to. There is a Facebook group that Jeri Bellini has called Recycled Parts for Art that you can go and ask to join. I'll put links to everything down below. She has a website and everything. I'll put all the links below. And you could go join the Facebook group and see what other people do. Also, the rest of the artist gang, there's a video with these recycled things that she sent to us every week. So I've been sharing those as well. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.